Hi and welcome to the channel. I'm Laura. Today's class is going to help you warm up the back body into the spine, also into the hips and into those pesky hamstrings that tend to just be tight on a lot of us. Sometimes it's not always the hamstrings. Sometimes we are restricted by the nerves that we have throughout the back of our legs as well, especially the sciatic nerve. So we will do some nerve glides today that will help you explore the range and maybe a change or difference. Once you do some of those nerve glides, you may find that you get a little bit deeper into the back body, into the legs and the hamstrings. So let's go ahead and get started right away. We're going to start a little differently and start at the top of our mats today and standing. So we'll go ahead and find our spot with the feet hip width distance apart. So to start to feel grounded, make sure that your weight feels balanced between left and right, and so you don't feel like we're leaning from one side to the other. We'll start just simply by slowing down and feeling that weight into our feet, finding that nice shift, maybe slightly forward. Maybe feel your weight come back into the heels. Feeling that difference between front and back. Very small movement until you maybe come right to the center and find that neutral alignment. Soft bend in the knees. The hands and the arms are just hanging loosely by our sides, maybe allowing the eyes to close. And then finding your breath. Reaching for our breath throughout the practice so that we make sure that we're not gripping or finding tightness elsewhere in the body when we're working into some of these other areas like our hips and our hamstrings. Shoulders are nice and heavy, moving away from the ears, but the crown of the head is still lifted nice and tall. We'll start by warming up the back body by taking some spinal roll down. So I want you to start by tucking the chin, beginning to roll the head down, bringing the chin towards the chest. And then as you do so, round through the chest and through the upper back, spreading the shoulders out wide as you begin to roll down. You can just let the arms hang loosely. Knees can still be bent until we come into a forward fold. You don't need to touch the ground. You can maybe have your fingertips to the earth or your hands to blocks. Knees can still be bent. Let's take an inhale. And on the exhale, we'll start to slowly round our way back up. Tuck the tailbone, allowing the spine just to curve gently as you come back to the top, finishing with the neck and then finally the head until the crown reaches tall again towards the sky. We'll take those roll downs 2 more times. Go at your own pace. Begin by slowly tucking the chin, allowing the neck to round. The head starts to feel heavy, starting to shift the shoulders forward. Draw the navel in as you round through the middle portion of the back. Finally, allowing the torso to be heavy, coming into a forward fold. Again, we'll start to shift our way in reverse, coming back from where we came. Allow yourself to pause in any areas that maybe need a little extra time, whether you're going up or coming down. Taking our last roll down. Slowly making our way into a forward fold. Once you've reached your way at the bottom of the mat or towards the bottom of the mat, we'll hang out and stay in this forward fold. Again, since we're just beginning, feel free to allow your knees to bend, big bend or maybe a soft bend in the knees. And as we move a little bit more, you may feel the ability to straighten the back of the legs. We're just warming up the hamstrings here. We're going to take a twist in our forward fold. Place the left hand down right below your nose. Press into the mat as you spiral and open the chest towards the right. The left knee is bent, the right knee is straight, reaching the right fingertips up towards the ceiling. Maybe the gaze follows through. Inhale. And then as you exhale, maybe take the right hand for a bind, bring it behind the back. Perhaps take the right fingertips to the inside of the left thigh. Opening the right shoulder towards the back of the room, keeping your twist. Inhale. And as you exhale, let's unravel that right arm, bring it down. Place it down in front of you. From here, we're going to step the left foot and cross it behind the right foot. So you have this crisscross leg so that the left shin is behind the right calf. Inhale, lift the torso slightly, and as you exhale forward, fold over those crossed legs. We'll stay here for a couple of breaths. You can keep your fingertips on the floor. Try to keep the weight towards the balls of the feet. So shifting the weight slightly forward, maybe even grabbing the ankles and pulling yourself in slightly. On the next inhale, halfway's lift, place the fingertips down. From here, we're going to lift that left foot, take a big step back towards the back edge of the mat. So you're in a runner's lunge. Start to shift the hips down, but keep that back knee lifted. Take a couple of bounces here just to wake up the hips. Get a little movement. These are controlled, so we're not getting too crazy, just very small bounces, almost like wiggling, just to wake up the hips for a little stretch and to create some heat. When you're ready, go ahead and lower that left knee down, untuck the back toes. From here, we're going to bring the right hand in, shift the right foot towards the outside edge of the mat, and we have found our lizard pose, or in yin, we would call this our dragon. So the right knee is just outside of the right upper arm. From our dragon, let's create or make this a little more active, and let's press the right knee into that upper right arm. At the same time, you're going to oppose that right arm from falling inward by pushing out with your arm. As you do this, if you push into the right arm with your right knee, you're going to feel the hip light up into the back. Keep the chest lifted. Breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the knee. Allow it just to hang out next to the right arm. If you'd like to come lower into your lizard, you can lower down onto forearms or forearms onto blocks. Blocks are always helpful in our practice and a welcome addition. We'll hold here for about 3 breaths. Relaxing the face and the jaw. When you're ready, push yourself up if you were lowered down, and we're going to walk the right foot back to the midline. From here, we'll push back into our half splits. So the left hip is about over the left knee. And then we're going to start to straighten the right knee. It doesn't need to be fully straightened. You can have a soft bend in the right knee as long as you're feeling a stretch into the right hamstrings. Toes are pointed up towards the nose. You can stay up nice and high on your fingertips or even hands to blocks. Or if you'd like to lower, you could start to shift the belly towards the top of that right thigh. I like to keep my chest lifted. At the same time, I'm thinking of reaching, looking for that anterior pelvic tilt, so I'm reaching the top of my tailbone, even though there's not much movement there, but I'm feeling a very big stretch into that hamstring. Now that we have found our position and we feel where we want to feel this stretch in the hamstring, we're going to make this a little more active. Even though you won't see any movement, you will feel it. We're going to press the right foot, the right heel down into the mat. At the same time, feel as if your right hip, the right bone of the femur, is driving back towards the back of the room, like you want to pull the right leg towards the back. There isn't any actual movement going on here, but you should feel a lot more working into the right leg. We'll take one more breath. You can relax the pressure. Maybe you can feel that you can lower down a little more with the chest. Getting a little deeper into the hamstring stretch. On the next breath, we're going to shift forward, bending the right knee, tuck the back toes, And then we'll step the right foot back. Go ahead and take a downward facing dog. You can pedal it out here for a moment in your down dog. And just release that back of the right leg and the right hip. If you feel like a little movement will help. When you're ready, find some stillness in your downward facing dog. Press into the mat with your hands. Start to reach the heels towards the earth. They do not need to touch the mat, but we want to feel that active movement, especially since we're trying to work and wake up the back line of the body. We want to feel that tailbone reaching up towards the sky and the shoulders pressing or widening across the back as the front of the shoulders are reaching down towards the mat. Inhale. Exhale, release the breath. 2 more breaths like that. Inhale. Exhale, release. Last breath. From our downward facing dog, we're going to make our way to the top of the mat. By walking our feet up, we're going to walk by placing the heel down first and then the toes. So going from one side to the other, heel to toe, heel to toe. Trying to keep this connection with the mat, walking the feet up as far as you can until you can't get any further, working on the compression, keeping the hands on the mat if you can, and trying to walk the feet up and in between the hands. Takes a lot of practice and work on the compression. Here we've made our way. Once you can't go any further, find your way into a forward fold at the top of the mat. So the feet are now hip-width distance apart. Head is draping over the legs. And again, if you want a soft bend in the knees, perfectly fine to hang out there. From our forward fold, we're going to place the right hand down in between the feet this time, directly below the nose. As we inhale, we're going to take a twist and revolve the chest towards the left. Bend into the right knee while the left leg stays straight. Finding our twist, reaching the fingertips up towards the sky. Inhale. And exhale. On the next breath, if you took the bind on the other side, maybe try it on the left side by wrapping the left arm behind the back, maybe bringing the right fingertips to the inside of the right thigh. Aim to keep that left shoulder pressing towards the back of the room, staying wide across the collarbone. On the next breath, we'll unravel, bring the left hand down. Place the hands in front of you once more into a forward fold. Stepping the right foot behind the left foot this time. So you have the right shin is behind the left calf. Inhale, lift the chest so we come into a halfway lift in this cross-legged position. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Getting a little bit more out of the stretch, out of the fold. Feeling more even into the glutes. Keeping the weight forward into the balls of the feet. Or if you would like to challenge your balance, you can even pull yourself in a little bit by grabbing a hold of the ankles. On the next breath, we'll inhale, lift up, place the fingertips down, and we'll take a big step back with that right foot stepping towards the back edge of the mat. So we've come into this runner's lunge now on the opposite side. Keeping the right knee lifted, we'll take a few of those hip bounces. Allow the hips to sink low, but still feel supported because our fingertips are on the ground. Some gentle bounces, nothing too fast. Keeping it controlled just as a little warm up so we stretch into that left hip. And when you're ready, let's go ahead and lower that right knee to the earth, untuck the right toes, and we'll walk the left foot out. This time, the left knee will come to the outside of the left arm. Make yourself comfortable here. We'll pause for a moment as we come into this higher version of lizard. Keeping the chest lifted. And then we're going to work on activating further into that left hip, just as we did before. So we're going to have those opposing forces, pressing the left knee into the upper forearm of the left arm at the same time, trying to prevent the arm from being pushed in by pressing out with the left arm. So as you push the knee and the arm into each other, feel that activate all the way down into the pelvis and into the left hip. You might even feel more of a stretch into the front of the right quad. I can feel this go all the way down through my body into my lower body. Keeping that active for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, go ahead and release the pressure. We're going to relax and make this a more passive pose. You can stay upright on the hands, lower onto your blocks, or even forearms all the way down onto the mat. Exploring our lizard pose. We'll just take a breath here, pausing. Keep moving the breath through the body so that it finds motion. Avoid stillness and stagnancy in the breath. Finding this movement, moving the breath deeply through the body, down through the hips, all the way through the bellies, the ribs, and the chest. That helps signify to the body that it's okay to relax and that we're fully supported in this posture. The muscles can let go. We can get a little bit deeper into the joints. When you're ready, we're going to press the hands into the earth and then walk that left foot back into the midline, preparing for our half splits now on this opposite side. Shift the right hip back so it comes in line with the right knee. Start to draw the left toes up towards the nose as you move into a half split. Being mindful of the knee, you can have a nice little bend. Lift the torso up slightly. And then as you exhale, try to draw the belly towards the top of the left thigh. I like to lead out with my heart center. It helps encourage me to have my tailbone lifted. Finding a greater focus into that left hamstring. Now as we work on this left side, again, we'll find that activation where we drive the left heel down into the mat. There will be no visible movement, but we want the action to be the left heel driving into the mat and feel like we're trying to pull the left femur back into the hip joint. So we're going to press down firmly into the mat for 5, 4, 3. This side is much more challenging than my other. 2 and 1. Very good. Stay in your half splits. You can make this a more passive posture. Just release the pressure. Allow yourself to fold over the top of the left leg. And when you're ready, we're going to inhale, bend the left knee, tuck the back toes, and we'll step back to our downward facing dog. Again, to release the left side, you can pedal it out. Feels quite nice. You can shift the hips from left to right. And then when you're ready from downward facing dog, we're simply going to bend the knees. Shift the feet from under us and stick the legs out nice and straight in front. Preparing for our head to knee pose, we'll begin on the right hand side. Keeping the right leg nice and straight, we'll draw the left inside of the foot to the right inner thigh. Sometimes it can feel good to sit up on a folded blanket here to have the hips a little higher to assist in our fold. When you're ready, we're going to start by taking an inhale and grow up nice and tall from the crown. And as you exhale, walk the hands forward. Again, I like to lead with the heart center, almost like I'm taking a small back bend in the upper body. It helps keep that beautiful pelvic tilt, almost like I'm trying to tilt out a bowl of soup from my pelvis, trying to reach the belly towards the top of the right thigh. Really exploring the length into the right hamstring. Breathe. Expand the ribs. Even though we're in a fold, Allow the chest and the belly and the ribs to fully open, feeling the front and the back body expand. And then maybe release a little more on the exhale. On your next inhale, we'll start to walk the hands up, lift ourselves up. We'll extend the left leg out and slowly roll down onto our backs. We're going to find a hamstring stretch here onto the right side. And as we lower down, I'm just going to adjust my mic for comfort here. As we lower down, we're going to keep the left sole of the foot onto the mat, and then we're going to just go ahead and bring the right knee into the chest. Draw the right knee in, give it a squeeze. We'll start with some nerve glides. So we'll begin by just keeping the foot pointed and then extend the right knee towards the sky. Only come to where you feel a bit of a stretch in the hamstring. We're not going for a full amount of the stretch here. From the top, then we're going to flex the foot and then bend the knee, bring the foot back down. Point the foot, extend the knee, lifting the right foot towards the sky, flex and draw the foot down. Point the toes, extend, flex and lower. Point the toes, extend, flex and lower. Very good. Those are some nerve glides that we're working on. And from here, we're going to make more tension on the nerve by keeping the foot flexed the whole time. So flexing the foot at the bottom and keeping it flexed, we're going to extend the right leg towards the sky. This may be more of a challenge. That's that sciatic nerve probably talking to you if you really feel this a lot in the back of the leg. Keep the foot flexed and lower. Flex the foot and lift. Keeping that position, we'll lower down. Flex the foot and lift. Bend the knee and lower. Keeping the foot flexed, we'll lift and lower down. Last time, we'll lift the foot, keeping the foot up in the air. You can keep the fingers interlaced behind the back of the right thigh, or you can have the fingers interlaced behind the back of the right calf. Or if you have a strap handy, you can also loop it around the foot and just have a hold of your strap. If you have long arms, maybe you want to go for the toe grab. Take your peace fingers and wrap them around that big toe and then draw the foot in towards the face. I like to aim for this one. Let's aim the big toe towards our nose. We can always draw the foot out towards the side, like we're drawing our foot towards the top of our right shoulder. But for today's practice, we're going to draw the toe in towards the nose, and you're going to feel from one position to the other how that changes into the back of the right hamstring. Pause here. If you like, you can extend that left leg out long. Maybe anchor that left hip by placing the left hand on top of it. Whatever feels good. Sometimes I like to have both of my hands onto my right leg as little anchors. It feels good on my shoulders just to allow the arms to feel heavy and create that weight into the right leg. And then from here, this is a great position to come into to find our half happy baby on the right side. Bend the right knee. Place the right hand, if you can, on the outer edge of the right foot. The right elbow would come to the inside of the right knee as you draw the right knee in towards the armpit and down towards the mat. If the outer edge of the foot grab is too far away for you to reach, again, this is where that strap comes in super handy. Or you can always take a hold of the right calf, or simply have the right hand on the back of the thigh and draw the knee in towards the armpit. Breathe and hold. When you're ready, softly release the right foot to the earth. From here, we're going to draw the knees into the chest, bring the hands to the back of the thighs, roll the head, neck, and shoulders up off of the mat, and we're going to take a couple of rolls like a ball until we come to a seated position again on our mat. This time, extend the left leg out long, draw the right foot to the inside of the left thigh, and we'll find our head to knee pose on this side. So taking a breath to start, sitting up nice and tall, start to hinge forward at the hips, and walk yourself until you feel a hamstring stretch. From there, you don't need to lower any further. You can pause right there. I like to keep my chest lifted. I'm thinking more about reaching the bottom of the very ribs and the belly to the top of the left thigh. And I'm also thinking about keeping that wonderful anterior pelvic tilt. So we're tilting our pelvic bowl forward, almost like you're dumping out a bowl of water or a bowl of soup. Feeling a little sway or a little arch into our lower back, even though it isn't much of a movement, but you can feel that intention of moving the muscles and the joints in that direction. When you're ready, start to walk the hands in. We'll come back to an upright posture, and then we'll lower ourselves back onto the mat. Again, finding our hamstring stretch now on the left side. So lowering down, the soles of the feet are on the mat. The knees are bent. And we're going to begin by drawing that left knee into the chest. Interlace the fingers behind the knee. We'll work on waking up the left sciatic nerve by doing some nerve glides. So start by pointing the left toes. Extend the toes up towards the ceiling. Once you've reached the top, flex the foot, and then we'll bend the knee and bring that foot back down. Point the toes, extend the left leg, coming into where you feel a stretch, not super strong, but just where you feel a slight stretch in the back of the leg. Then flex the foot as you lower and bring it down. Point, extend, flex, and lower. Point the toes, extend, flex the foot, and lower. Point the toes, extend, flex, and lower. From here, we're going to keep the foot flexed. So flex as you extend that left leg, straightening out the left knee, and then bend the knee and lower. We'll take 4 more of those, straightening out the leg only until you feel a stretch, and lower it down. Extend the leg and lower. 2 more, extending, lowering down. Last one, we'll extend that left foot up towards the sky, and we'll find our hand to big toe pose. Big stretch into the back of that left hamstring. You can keep your hands down here on the back of the left thigh. Maybe you want to start to draw the calf in. Maybe you want to use your strap or take your peace fingers and wrap them around that left big toe. Start to draw the toe in towards the nose so that you feel the toe is kind of in line with the face. And the right knee can stay bent. That can absolutely stay right there. You can still feel that stretch into the back of the left leg, especially the hamstring. If it feels good, maybe you want to extend the right leg along the ground. Sometimes having that right leg straight can make you feel a little unstable, like you might want to roll over. So completely optional if you want to keep the leg bent or straight. The one leg that we are keeping super straight here is our left leg. Keep breathing, drawing it in towards the face. From our hamstring stretch, we'll slowly move into our half happy baby on the left side. So bending the left knee, drawing the hand maybe to the outer edge of the left foot if you can catch it. But above all, we want to draw that left knee in towards the mat and into the left armpit. The sole of the left foot is still flexed, so it's almost like we are walking on the ceiling. All the left arm is doing is feeling heavy and anchored, like you're grounding the top body into the earth. Find your breath. Maybe give yourself a little bit of a smile. From our half happy baby, since we've worked both sides now, we should feel a little looser into the back of the legs and into the hips. We're going to find our full happy baby pose. So you can keep the left leg as it is. We'll draw the right leg up to join it so that we are now symmetrical, finding our happy baby pose. Adjusting your hands, maybe again finding the calves. You can even hold onto your yoga pant legs. Upper body is grounded and anchored so you feel the back of the shoulders touching the mat. Goal is to have the lower back connected with the mat as well. I know there is a tendency, especially as we are looking to find more length and mobility into our hips, there is a tendency to be rounded and for our tailbone and low back to lift up off of the mat. But our intention, even if we are lifted, is to feel our low back trying to press down into the mat. Now, if you have your full happy baby and you want to explore some movement, you can maybe take your fingertips around, or your fingers, and take a wrap around the big toes, perhaps extending one leg long and then the other. Opening up into these half straddles in your happy baby. Stretching into the back of the hamstrings, one at a time, going from left to right. And then if it feels good, maybe extend both of the legs out wide. I'm a little kitty wampus here in my reclined straddle just because I'm slightly supported on the couch with the right side. But I'm still actively pushing and opening into the inner thighs. Wherever you're at, if you're in your open straddle, we're going to start to bend the knees, draw the knees into the chest. You can wrap the arms around the front of the shins, draw the head, neck, and shoulders up for our reclined wind release posture. Giving yourself a nice squeeze. Feeling yourself in this ball of energy as you squeeze yourself tight. And then we're going to go ahead and take the hands behind the knees, rock ourselves, taking a couple, maybe 2 or 3 times to bring ourselves to a seated position on our mat. Making our way into a passive straddle, opening up the legs up wide. I'd like to have my heels on my mat. Yogi's choice, whether you want to come sideways onto your mat as well. And then when you're ready, you can point or flex the feet. Again, we'll make this yogi's choice and just allow yourself to take a forward fold in your wide-legged straddle. You don't need to come down very far. If you're up nice and high and you want to hang out on your forearms, this is a great place to be as well. Remember, yoga is what you make of it, and so your practice is all truly your own, and even today's practice can look completely different from tomorrow's. We'll hold here for about 4 breaths, 4 to 5 breaths here in our straddle. Give yourself a little smile. Maybe shake the head from left to right, release the back of the neck. And then when you're ready, go ahead and walk yourself up. Maybe use the hands to assist the legs to draw them inward. We'll just find ourselves in a nice cross-legged seat. And from here, we're going to close our practice just by allowing the hands to come to the knees, closing the eyes softly in this resting and grounded position. Taking a few soft breaths to allow ourselves to reconnect and find that awareness with the body and that situational awareness that we've created today that we can carry with us off the mat, the peacefulness and the connection that we have from our body to our breath, between our physical and our emotional body. the stillness that we create within ourselves by allowing ourselves to have gentle movement and mindful movement in our practice. When you're ready, softly blink the eyes open. We'll seal the end of our practice by taking one breath. Inhale the arms up, reach the fingertips towards the sky, and draw the palms together down through heart center to close your practice. And give yourself a big pat on the back for coming to your mat today and doing some body work. I hope that your back body is feeling nice and warm and awakened for the day, and that you can move through your day to make it a good one. As always, take care. I hope you come back to the channel, subscribe for new practices every single week. Bye.